Welcome to Cohesive Friendship Unit. I am Chris, and I am with Brian.
What's going on?
And that's it today. Just
Just
two of
just
us?
Brian.
Just
Just
Brian.
Brian. Just
And
Brian.
we're going to be talking about Project xCloud. But real quick, if you like this video, throw us a like. Let us know down below what you think of Project xCloud. And if you love us, sub us. If you sub, enters you for a chance to win a Steam code at 200 subs. We're going to be giving one away, then 250, 300, etc. Let's get into this. Project xCloud is, I guess, what Microsoft is going to do as kind of tier one. They've mentioned that they're going to have this streaming service, and this is kind of the embodiment of that. They're going to have a streaming service, and then they're going to have a dedicated console, and this looks like that streaming service. Uh,
Uh,
So, and we've talked about we've talked about like the future of Xbox and
it
how they
has
have
no
to do
future.
something.
Like the thing, the console, like they're putting their eggs in too many baskets now. Like it's not put all your eggs in one basket. It's put your eggs in two shitty baskets. Like,
So you don't like it?
no, I don't fucking like it.
Okay.
You like it?
I am okay with it, but I think it has two huge flaws. Like I don't think it's going to be successful. Um,
Being the two
yeah,
huge
the two.
flaws.
So yeah, and real quick, this is they haven't given a release date or anything. They just have a little teaser saying that they basically put a bunch of Xbox Ones in a server room, and you can pay for this service, which will let you stream Xbox One games theoretically anywhere onto your smartphone, onto your tablet, onto your laptop, wherever, whenever, however. You can use a touch interface or a controller. But yeah, my two biggest issues are, one, they seem to be touting this as kind of an affordable way to play console games, and Xbox Ones, the base model, they're not expensive. I mean, yeah, like $200 is not an insubstantial amount of money.
But that's like it's reachable.
It's
Like
reachable, and then like you're gonna have to have a really good internet connection, like at least 25 megabits per second. And I think the people who have that kind of internet connection, you're already paying a decent amount for, like, the people who can afford that internet connection or live in an area with that internet connection probably can also just afford an Xbox One. So
if they
then,
wanted one.
if they wanted one, exactly. So then
Which they don't.
yeah. So then the other naysayers or whatever would say, oh, but that's not the point. The point is that it's portable. It's Xbox wherever you want, whenever you want. And to that, I would say, like, that connection is going to be reliant on your data, assuming you do it on a smartphone or tablet with data, which, one, I don't know. I have Sprint. I would never have a good enough connection to pull this shit off.
Nope. Nope.
And yeah, and do you have T-Mobile? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sucks.
yeah, no way. And I live in fifth biggest city in the U.S.
And I live pretty damn close to Boston, so
Yeah.
if
So
it don't work here, it ain't gonna work anywhere.
yeah, so and even if I could, I would probably I would max out my data so fast.
Oh, and
So
not to mention it's a Bluetooth thing too, so you're gonna be
oh yeah,
burning
you're
your
gonna be killing
battery.
your phone juice. So I don't see it as like a legitimate competition to Nintendo and the Switch and their portability thing. I don't see it as I see it as a good idea from the perspective of like, yeah, sure, whatever, streaming, but for the people who have the hardware, the technology, the access to all this, they'd probably just be better off just buying an Xbox. That's kind of where
You'd
I'm at.
probably be better off just buying an Xbox, period, instead of a $60 or however ridiculously expensive this thing is gonna be
Yeah.
gadget to hook a smartphone onto your Xbox. I mean, how much of a cop out is this? Come on. They're like, okay, we're going to make a thing that you can connect your phone to an Xbox controller, which you probably could already do if you played around with it a little bit. And you're going to get to play all your favorite Xbox games, and it's just like well, it's not really just like a console because you don't like the issues that you mentioned, and B, like, not everybody's phone is exactly the same. The thing when you're making a console is you have control over the minimum hardware specs,
Yeah.
and with this they absolutely do not.
I mean, theoretically, it's just like your phone's ability to reach the connection threshold, and then the video decoding and sending the signal out fast enough. It should be fairly minimal, but that still doesn't change the fact that there are going to be limitations. Like, you can't use an original iPhone to do this, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, you probably can't use any smartphone made before like 2016.
Probably. That sounds pretty reasonable. But yeah,
And like, and I don't want to hear about your fucking virtual sticks. Like, don't every single time. Like, they're all shit. It doesn't work. You're not gonna want to play game. Like, if you notice, the gameplay that they showed was all like people running or driving in a straight line or like walking into walls. There was no, there was no like shooting and like, oh, it's gonna be Halo. It's just like Halo, and you remember Halo, right? But like, that's not what you showed us. Like, some people playing Halo and walking around in a straight line.
I mean, I appreciate the option. Like, what, you know, whatever. If you use it, you use it. If you don't, you don't. I at least appreciate the option. What I am kind of curious about are two things. One, the portability is already kind of killed a little bit once you have to take an Xbox One controller with you. Like,
it's more portable than the Switch.
It is more yeah, but at least the Switch kind of everything goes into one unit. Yeah,
the Switch works without an internet connection if you want it to.
That's also, yeah. And the other thing is, like, I'm curious if they're going to do anything to combat kind of like, not crossplay, but this is Xbox One, right? So on paper, if you play Halo online, you're going to be playing with other Xbox One players and not necessarily just streaming players. So I'm curious if, like, people who are playing on mouse and keyboard on their desktop using this streaming thing are going to be playing against people with touch controls, or if there's I'm just curious how this is all going to kind of come together.
It's going to be a clusterfuck is what it's going to be.
It's going to be interesting. And again, I'm not inherently against this. I fail to see.
No, it's a desperate attempt to be like, we're still relevant in the video game market while spending the minimum possible amount on hardware. Like, it was halfway a push for Azure. Like, they were showing off all the server centers they're gonna build, and they were like, we have a world-class cloud thing in Azure, and it's like, well, but nobody fucking uses it, do they?
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, I guess the two last things I want to talk about is, one, so the Switch is not as powerful as an Xbox One. So if this works flawlessly, it is cool that on paper, theoretically, you could play the top of the line Assassin's Creed or whatever, wherever, assuming literally
you have $1,000 phone.
Yeah, you have a great phone, you have a great data plan, you have the perfect storm of events happening for this. That's where it is on paper super cool. And
but paper and real life are two completely different things.
And the other thing that I think is maybe a good thing, maybe not, is that I assume that, and again, none of this is announced, I assume the pricing model and the game library is going to have to be extreme. Like, I assume they're basically going to have to give you what the Xbox All Access program has, where you get that program's $120 a year, but you get like over 100 games, Xbox 360, Xbox One, first party releases, day and date. Like, to get me to do this, I would have to really...
You'd have to get a lot.
I'd have to get a lot, yeah. And it would have to be priced really aggressively.
Well, maybe the one silver lining is that if you're playing it on your phone, you're like, regardless of what you've been told, internally your expectations are lower than playing it on a huge TV. So
that is true.
Maybe that will make up for some of the sins, which I'm sure they're going to have with this fucking data connection.
Yeah.
Because it's based on 5G. I don't have 5G. Do you have 5G? Does anybody have 5G?
Well, yeah, at least cellular wise, yeah. The only real for people who already kind of have some hardware, the biggest saving grace I see is like if I have a PS4 Pro, if some Xbox exclusive comes out that doesn't come out for the PC, which Microsoft has claimed every first party title is coming out on the PC as well, so we'll see. But like, let's pretend Halo 6 is not coming out on PC. It might be cool to pay for this for like a month and check out Halo on, stream it through my, whatever
Spoiler,
computer.
it's gonna suck.
Well, I'll hold that reservation, but it might be, at least it gives people access to a library, but I don't know. Can you think of anyone who this is for?
No.
Okay.
Like a hardcore Microsoft fanboy that refuses to play anything other than Xbox. Like, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel with this one. I don't see the appeal in subscription services in general. And I mean, that's me. I know that like a lot of people out there would disagree with me on that. I just don't see the point in paying for something that you're not going to own.
Yeah.
But whatever, people lease cars too, and that's fine. Why would you want to put that on top of something that you know is going to be shit? Like, my phone can't really, it's an S5, Galaxy S5. It can't really run GTA San Andreas, the port, on like maximum settings. It has trouble with that. And that was a PS2 game, and it came out in 2003 or something like that. So, I think that if you have a flagship phone and you're all there and you get all the shit, then maybe. But
Well,
it's like you said
Xbox
earlier, it
and the
comes
server.
back to the same point. Just buy a fucking Xbox and like deal with the fact that you can't play video games when you're driving to work.
Which you can't do anyway. Like this,
Right.
yeah. Okay,
Ugh.
interesting. Well, so I guess I have two more things I want to talk about. Well, the first is, because we've kind of talked about this, what could Xbox do besides, I'm not giving up is not an option, whatever. Like, what could they do? Because I always suggested that, and this is kind of a similar step, that Xbox kind of just dissolves itself into essentially just a PC. Like, they become an Alienware type brand where you, and all, like it kind of is already happening, all Xbox One games come out on PC. So, but now Xbox is just a PC, which it already basically is. And, you can play any of those games on any Windows 10 custom build PC you want, or you can buy like the Xbox, which is, a small factor PC that is designed, that has the UI that looks nice in your living room. That's kind of where I see Xbox.
I could see that. I could see it being like Xbox specs. Like, if your computer has this hardware, it meets Xbox specs or whatever, and
Exactly.
like you get the same sort of quote unquote compatibility that you get with a console. It's like saying it runs on Windows 98.
You buy the box, and
yeah, you
at
see
minimum,
Xbox and you know that you have Xbox stuff in your computer, or stuff with the Xbox brand slapped all over it. Hint, fucking hint. And
yeah,
you know it'll work.
yeah, and at minimum, it'll guarantee first party games for 5 years or something.
And a plug and play driver suite would be nice for accessories.
Yeah.
To just make it so that it works as soon as you plug it into any Windows PC. Like, the drivers are already there, it's just plug and play.
Yeah.
Which, they don't do too bad of a job with that. I didn't have a lot of problems with my 360 receiver. I think the drivers were already set up and installed.
Yeah, it worked pretty well for my one as well.
But they could, and that's nothing. That's just coding and making a couple of cheap accessories and putting your brand on something that people are going to buy anyways. Like, I don't see any future in this tablet thing.
Well, yeah. So this is kind of the last point, or we'll spend like 1 minute on this because it is slightly unrelated. We're not making a project stream from Google video this week because I'm trying to get a beta code. So if we do, we'll do a video. But Google this Friday, or last Friday, did their closed beta for what's called Project Stream, which is essentially the same thing, except they're a little bit more closed door about it. They are requiring a 25 megabit connection, and they're more or less encouraging you play on PCs. And the only game right now that you can play is the newest Assassin's Creed. But do you think it's a good idea for Google?
No, I think that Google. I don't want to say they're overextended because they're really not. They're pretty much the biggest company in the world. But you know what your market is, and don't like the response to their phones has been relatively lukewarm, and they helped invent Android. And you're not buying phones that it has Google apps on it, but it's not a Google phone.
Yeah,
Or it hasn't been for a very long time for the vast majority of people.
I'll just say with the Google thing, I mean, we've seen so many Google projects kind of appear and disappear. Like, oh shit, what was the smart glasses?
Google Glass.
Google Glass, yeah. Like, Google is fine to just do a random experiment, throw a bunch of money at it, and then it just like disappears, like Google fucking Plus.
Yeah.
They
press F to pay respect.
Like, they dabble in these things, and a lot of times I think they can just throw shit at the wall until something sticks. I probably don't think this will stick. There have been so many streaming programs. On Live is one that comes to mind. None of them have worked, and I get that we're waiting for the technology, but I'm still not convinced, at least in North America, which is one of the biggest markets for video games. Technology's there, so. All right.
Well, and I would say you hit on a salient point there in kind of a roundabout. Microsoft's problem, I would say, that's my final thought, is that they are always the second or third guy to throw something at the wall. Someone already threw something at the wall and knows what sticks, and they're trying to jump on the bandwagon.
Connect.
So they need to do exactly
the Xbox.
the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
What they need to do is they need to come up with something like the Switch, not like the Switch in that it's a copy of the Switch, in that it's I didn't think this is something that video games could be. But Microsoft has the money. Microsoft could develop something here if they wanted to, but I'm seeing this as kind of they don't want to, which may be wise.
Cool. Nice closing thoughts. Do you have any other closing thoughts?
My other closing thoughts, well, if you've dug yourself into a really fucking deep hole, go ahead and hammer that on down in the word box. And like Chris said, if we're getting in some subs, we're going to be giving out some Steam codes there, so make sure you click the sub button as well as the little ringy dingy in the top right hand corner, so that you get continuously updated with all the continuously cohesive shit that we're doing here on the continuously cohesive friendship unit channel. Make sure to crush that motherfucking like button and smoke them if you got them, guys. That's all for me tonight, Chris.
Thank you, Brian. Catch you guys next time.